All right. Good morning, good morning, good morning. All right. I don't know what is going on. I hope you all had a very nice Easter and a happy holiday and you enjoyed your time with your family. Oh, I've been having my troubles with YouTube. The processing, taking forever. So anyway, hopefully today will be better. I don't know. I'm sitting here this is the second time I'm doing your video, and I'm sitting here and all of a sudden my lights go out. And I'm like, what? Everything just shut down. It was like, bam. And I'm like, okay. You know, electronics, when your power goes out, man, everything just seems to just go dark. And then when it comes back, then you have to kind of reset everything. I was like, God almighty. So I had to delete what I was doing on your video and start all over again. So anyway, I hope it goes better. I hope we can get through this. So I'm going to go into the astrology and show what's going on for your month, what is happening, the days it's happening, when energy is going to be there, when it's going to leave, it's going to pass over. And then hopefully whatever aspects are going on, you can work through those. We do know that Mercury's going retrograde, but I want to discuss, when we start the astrology, I want to discuss where Mercury was at and where it's going back to, okay? And then once it goes direct, again, it will go back over that, whatever it is. Take the time when Mercury goes retrograde. It's stationary right now, but when it finally kicks in and begins its retrograde, take that time to just reassess of what took place back in March. Began maybe around, some of you it may have been a little earlier, because of the aspects that, triggered things. So, and you may have to deal back to that certain time. Could be several certain dates that you may have to go back over. But take this time till Mercury goes direct to reassess things. Don't be in a rush. Don't be in a hurry. And there could be something going on with the partner as well at that time that was triggering things. So we'll just look at it and see what was going on, and we'll discuss that, and then we'll move forward, okay? So, with that being said, let's jump over into the astrology, and please keep your fingers crossed, pray for me. I mean, really, it's been rough. All right, here we go. We're in the astrology now, and we're at, as you can see in the event pool over here, I have Mercury at 10 degrees. 15 degrees. That was on March the 18th, but something kind of got triggered here before then. And so I'm going to show you the aspects that were going on. Some days I'm going to see things as we're going along. There's not going to be any major aspects, nothing really triggering something. But also I've put up the definitions of certain things. So like the nodes, Vista, this Lilith I'm using. And one more. Oh, the lot of fortune, which is sitting right here. Okay. This is lot of fortune. I'll show you the definitions on them because I don't want to keep repeating myself over and over again. All right. So we'll go through these definitions and things that I'm talking about. All right. The first thing we're going to start with is the nodes because they're very important. And, I'll put those up. All right. And so you can read here what they mean in your life. I'm not using the true nodes. The true nodes are connected to the lunar and the eclipses. And we're going to have a solar eclipse on April the 8th, where the sun will be in Aries and the moon and the sun will become a new moon. So this is sort of a new beginning. Lunar eclipses create something here that depending on what type of eclipse it is. It something about it, we should be releasing something, letting it go, whatever it may be. So I used these, the mean nodes, and if you look at the definition, you'll see why I use them, because they're more to the personal life of that particular sign. This is going to be for Leo, Sun, and Ascending. Remember, these are general readings because I don't have your chart. If I had your chart, I would have the outer ring being uh, the time now. The inner ring would be your birth chart. So I can't compare your chart to what is the events that are happening. Okay? Just want to let you know that. So these are subjective to just the overall collective general. All right? So that's why there's nothing really more than just the ingresses and what's going on here. Okay. Now, the next thing I use here is Vista. So we'll go through the definition of Vista so you can see it and maybe understand why I use it. Now we'll talk about what it's associated with. Vista is associated with Libra. Libra is the sign of I balance, with the third house of think. You know, if you go start with the Aries here, which always starts out the zodiac, correct? This case, where it is for you, the third house, Libra, it rules it, but you think about balance. You think about fairness. You think about justice. So whatever's there and in your house just happens to be dealing with Vista being in Gemini. So again, you're thinking about something here of your own actions. Are you learning things about society? Are you do you have a goal driven here? Creativity with friends, like-minded people. Are you focused there? Do you have goals there? Maybe you're looking at friendships that people that don't think the way you do, maybe influencers that affect your life. I'm looking at the ascending at this time and where it was at. It was in Aries, which usually Aries is the first house. So something here with the Mercury at that time was going on. It was affecting something that was dealing with society. And we're going to look at the midheaven, because the moon being in your 12th house represents karma, but it represents what you feel. You feel like you're reliving some karma here, or you still dealing with an opposition to something with the midheaven, which is your outer life. If this is here normally, okay, then this is above. And this is your outer life. And it's affecting maybe somewhat in your personal life. All this is what can be seen, and when it descends, as the ascending moves, it takes the ascending 2 hours to move through a sign. So as these descend, it's what can't be seen. You're not, late at night, you're not, because this is usually representation around midnight in this area. So, or here would be midnight, something descending. All this would be down, and this would be up. So there's something here that can be going on in your outer life that you need to balance something here, because you feel like you're dealing with something of karma. All right, 11th house is friends. It's your social group. It's your hopes and wishes as well. And this with Vista, as you're reading it on the screen, it is about your spiritual flame, what you're devoted to, what you're aspiring to. And that flame is it, because I'm seeing there's a square here of, are you focusing on some illusion here? That's a challenge or a dream or a vision you have that you're focused on, that you're having difficulty accomplishing it. Your hopes and wishes, whatever they may be. The next thing that I want to go over before we start as well, because this is really important, that I throw in here, is Lilith. Now, the Lilith I use is not like your normal Lilith you hear, the black moon. The black moon of Lilith is something that's hidden. And, there's something here with this Lilith being in your second house, with Virgo controlling this. The second house deals with what you have and how you're analyzing or being very analytical in your daily routines, because Virgo is like, the daily routines of work and these sort of things. But what it's dealing with is what you have. You're analyzing what you have here and what you want to kind of put your foot down, that I'm not going, because this is showing a quincunx to this area up here when Mercury got at 15 degrees. There might have been some anger expressed, and this Aries is the sign of the I am, which is, normally, but your I am is the moon, the sun. You're ruled by the sun. Your first house is the I am. This ninth house is ruled by Aries, which talks about courage. Aries is all about the self. You in self being adventurous, passionate, having the courage, the strength, the dedication to something here. And Mercury was in that area of the sun. So you were really focused somewhere here on your strength, your courage. Because the sun is right here at 28 degrees, and it's right now it's in Aries, where the sun is exalted in Aries. Now, when we talk about Aries or a planet being, or an illuminator, which the sun and the moon are, they're illuminators, your emotions, the moon here was ruling its house. So when it's in rulership, it controls that. It rules over it. Something here of karma. This is a house of karma. And it is what you feel. I feel I'm dealing with some karma here. Something maybe that you got to resolve here because of your past actions. Maybe in this societal area. But you got to have the courage to speak your mind and say something. Stand up to something here, because all this energy where there is Mercury conjunct to the ascending is something that's rising up, coming up out of the shadows in your area of relationships. These three signs here are about you. Okay? It's about the self. These three signs deal with the home for you. Scorpio, Sagittarius, and Capricorn. And they deal with the family. These three deal with relationships. The others. These three signs deal with the spirituality. So you feel like you're dealing with some sort of karma, but you have this Lilith here, and you can see the definition where maybe you need to set some boundaries and things. You need to express what you think in a balanced way, in a spiritual way, a devoted way to your friends or whatever you're devoted to. Maybe you're devoted to your family, maybe you're devoted to your spouse, but there's wounds there in society. If your spouse is having or your partnership in business is having trouble with other people and you want to help in some way, or there's wounds with you and them, you've got to have the courage to stand up and say, if you made a mistake, I made a mistake. Because all this took place, and I'm going to show you the aspects of it in a minute, what it was creating, but I still want to go over these signs. But it was where there's something here you had to make. When there's a quincunx, that's the most difficult aspect there is. But the good thing about this is that you have the capacity for the awareness of the relationships in your life. And to say, or to look at it in an objective way as well. But there's some adjustments that's got to be made here, because these energies, when there's an opposition, as there is here, with the moon to the midheaven and what's going on, okay, in your family, you may feel like, okay, what's going on with the family and society? What the heck was that? I just got something popped up on my screen. I don't know what it was. It was like a flash. Anyway, I got an excellent connection, so I don't know what's going on. But when it's an opposition, all right, opposition where it's kind of like a tug of war, all right? You're trying to control something here, because Capricorn is sort of gosh, my mind. It's a cardinal sign. That's what I was trying to say. And it's like you're trying to lead the way but do the work or analyze, being very analytical. The sixth house is about the work you put into something here. And you're analyzing something with your family, what's going on here. And there's a struggle back and forth between it. That's having to deal with something maybe that you're dealing with this ninth house, which deals with your philosophies, your intellectual, the higher mind, and Mercury being there. It could be about distant travel or expanding your consciousness, awareness, because of this opposition. You're becoming more aware of something here. This is a mutable sign. With the T-squares that I'm seeing here that's going on with Mercury and the ascending of what's rising or what's ascending coming up, you've got to have some courage here to really, like I said, speak up to something that's on your mind, to bring in some balance and a vision of what you're trying or that you want to have. You want to have a social life, or you want to have around good people, and you want to get in with joint activities and groups, but it's also about your ideals and your hopes and wishes. Maybe something with a family can socialize a little bit more. I don't know. You got to figure out what's going on here, what was going on when this happened around March the 18th. There was something going on, and you were thinking or communicating, but it created tension. There was some sort of tension here. Oppositions are tensions. And it was all about with what you thought, or maybe you speaking out about something. And like I said, with this Lilith, you were kind of maybe putting boundaries that say, okay, we can do this then, but we might have to limit something here. The next one, the last one I want to discuss here, as far as the what I'm using on here, looking and making sure I'm getting the right ones, is this part of fortune or lot. It's called part of fortune or the lot of fortune. And what it is the mathematical calculation in the chart that's based on the positions of where the sun is and where the moon is. And also where the ascending is. So with where the ascending is, it's affecting something here. You may be having trouble focusing as well because of this struggle you're going through. Because we have, anytime you've got a combined energy in a sign, it creates a lot of tension. And we're going to have that with this solar eclipse. You know, you may be trying to heal some wounds here or something, or old wounds are being opened up. Because we've got Mercury, we've got the North Node, and we also have Chiron in that second decant. And for you, it's in the 9th house, which Jupiter, gosh almighty, Sagittarius would be the sort of the next decant for you. And it rules the 9th house, normally. So there's a real impact with Jupiter here and Saturn in this sextile, Saturn to Jupiter, where, you know, you're coming, Venus, which is all about the love, and it's in your 8th house about what you desire and what you believe. The 8th house is what you can say, I desire, or for the relationship, or maybe what the partner desires or you desire here. But Venus is conjunct with that, so it's the capacity to love. Venus is all about how you, your capacity to love, and about what your values are. And the 2nd house is about values. Am I being valued by my in my relationships with others? And the sign that it's in is what you believe, because it's Pisces. Pisces is about what I believe. I desire something here, or they desire something here, but you may be limiting something here because you believe something, your beliefs. The sign shows your attitude and your needs for love. But in the relationship, you feel like maybe there may be some restrictions there or some limitations. Not maybe feeling like there's boundaries set, or you're setting boundaries. And that 9th house, like I said, it's philosophy, it's religion, it's teaching, it's higher education. But this is a cardinal sign and this is a mutable sign. And this is a fixed sign. So you're dealing with things here with this part of fortune, taking into calculation, mathematical calculation on this, of where the sun is, where the moon is, and where the ascending is. Something is coming up that you've got to face here about maybe your own actions or your own beliefs or the beliefs of others of the relationships. Now, Mars is that sort of aggressive energy, and it's in your 7th house. Some kind of action being taken here. Maybe the partner's trying their best to hear or have faith in something. Maybe the person's got the faith in what you're devoted to. They're just kind of going along with it, but you're struggling here in what you believe in the relationship. Is my partner really being proactive? Because this is conjunct, Venus is in conjunction with Saturn. Saturn is like the one that puts the brakes on things. It slows things down. It's about time slowing down. And look where it's all at with Jupiter. Jupiter rules his 9th house. But Jupiter's ruling right now is in your 10th house, which is definitely about career. Taurus is a sign of what I have, or your values. Taurus represents heredity, your values, your feelings, your self-worth, your talent, your social privileges, your culture, your background, your possessions, your security, your earning ability, money. But the 10th house is what you use. You use money. They're using things that you have, but there's some sort of unexpected, I would say you may be using up resources, so be kind of cautious there. But by the end of the month, as we go along, it should look better. But there's something that happened here that really initiated something. So let's go over to where this month's all about. I feel like that time when Mercury was there at 15 degrees and straightening something out and creating a new beginning and letting it just releasing, looking more to the future, not the past. So let's look at the aspects of what this was creating. You can see there's T-squares here. And it's all created by this area up here that was arising or ascending. Maybe some open wounds or something here, that you knew for the future you wanted to heal something. That really started with this. Started with this T-square about the past. Remember what I said about this South Node? And it's in the Saturn, Jupiter energy. What is sextiling? When it's a sextile, you need to activate your mind. It's a mental thing. And sometimes we speak what we think before we think about what we're fixing to say. So what here that maybe you expressed something and something about what you felt created some sort of karma, because the South Node is about our past actions. And this 12th house is that karma. And when we're talking about karma, I mean, this is a cardinal sign. Karma's results from the past acts, hidden supports and limits, institutes and inner social conflicts you have with others. So did you say something without thinking that created some sort of tension here? This all began on it began to start it on March the 16th. And it became exact on the 19th at 16 degrees, 46 minutes. You can see the exact time. There's something here, well, it was going to come exact on the 19th. But this is the 18th, so it would have been the next day. But it left and departed on March the 23rd. So this energy left. I don't know if you left it unresolved. this to the moon and what you were feeling, you started feeling it on the 17th of March. And the moon came exact on the 18th when all this really happened. A lot of it, go back to the 18th and see what you were dealing with, what was happening on that day. And this left on the 18th, later in the day, late in the evening. Again, this one entering exactly on the 18th. But it leaves on the 18th. All of these do. Every last one of them. This was Chiron to the South Node. Maybe you were trying to heal something here. I don't know. You were trying to maybe nurture somebody. Maybe you was trying to make them feel better about something, about them, what was going on. Or maybe you just got silent and went within. I don't know. But it's in the area where, you know, I'm sure your feelings were shown or seen. Because that moon was up. Now it has to deal with this T-square. When it's T-squares, when they're squares, it shows where there's stumbling blocks or building blocks. Something that you're trying to do or you're trying to create, but it may be unexpected things happen that you have no control over and it can be a lot of things because Jupiter is optimistic, it's expansion, it's growth. But Uranus is that planet of unexpected change. You expect one thing, something else happens as an end result. And it's how you handle these. And if you get upset and you get angry about something, or you don't talk about it and deal with it in a calm, balanced way, then issues arise. Because then the last thing we have here is a trapezoid. And you feel stuck. Oh, I'll just go along with what, with everything. It's best for me just, go along with whatever the change is. I want this, or I want to create this, or whatever it may be. But something here was like, I'm not going along with it because it ended very quickly. You might have went along with it for the moment, but it ended too that day. There was some opposition here as well. What you feel in your daily routines with society and how you deal with them. The only thing that is left here from this, what's going on, is this one sextile of Saturn to Jupiter. So with this retrograde, what I feel, and like I said, this is subjective because I don't have your birth chart, that this energy, this sextile here between Jupiter and Saturn, at this time, it's been going on, but the energy is going to leave. It started with the sextile between these two planets back in December. So there was something where with sextiles show where there's that opportunity for productivity and success, all right? But the mind has to be activated for it to work. And you got to activate your mind. You got to think to get it to work. So I don't know what was going on, but this is going to leave come tomorrow on April the 3rd. Because it started with this sextile that something, right before the holidays in December 2023, this aspect came into being between these two, and those two are sociable planets. They're longer lasting. And then in February was when they came to their closest point. On February the 5th. Now this aspect's going to leave that sextile because come tomorrow, all that other stuff is gone now. You're still acting minds. You're still trying to activate the mind on it. What's going on? Go back to this date of the 18th. Think back before Christmas what was going on December the 15th for you, socially. I kind of got an idea for one person what was happening here. And it really kind of hit home around February the 5th. So check that date out as well. But whatever this is, it will leave come tomorrow, April the 3rd. So let's go on to now where the current events of the 1st of April and what is happening. There's no major aspects here. You can see that. But what it is pointing out to is that Mercury is stationary. It went stationary on April the 1st. Today's the 2nd. I guarantee you it's already retrograde. But it wasn't doing any major aspects. There was something with the ascending on the horizon. Now, normally when I'm looking at the astrology on something here, I've got the clock moving. Because this ascending, I want to see where it's at. What's coming up. And this Lilith that I told you about, you can see it still on the screen. Or no, that's the part of fortune. You can see it there. There's a quincunx there. Because something here yesterday came about. And like I said, the quincunx is where all right, let me make it a little bit more clear that maybe you can understand this. You see this little pink line where they're connecting. Lilith is connecting to the ascending. That's called a conjunction. So when there's a conjunction, it shows spontaneous activity and sets things in motion. Intensity, combining planets' energy, strengthening or canceling. So what was it doing? It was canceling something because it's an inconjunct. It goes from these two energies of what's coming up, of your daily routines, your work, or whatever it is, and you're analyzing something here, being very analytical about what you have and what you have to do. On yesterday. But then we had the quincunx going up to Chiron. Again, it's like you can feel this energy because now the sun's there. And the sun is exalted in Aries. So it's like the lion. It's like the courage that you need to do something here. Because this is conjunct, giving that combined energy of the work and being very analytical about things, maybe even somewhat times critical, because Virgo can be critical. So you're showing something here in your 9th house that higher mind, to activate it, that something the mind, the higher mind, which is the head above, all right, about something here you're thinking about, because there's the opposition, and we've also got a inconjunct here with Jupiter, and it's conjunct with Uranus, so expect the unexpected is what it's telling you, because this is going retrograde. You're going to learn some lessons here. And we also have a inconjunct or quincunx. Some people call it quincunx. Some people call it An inconjunct, meaning the energies are not working together. They're not working in combined. There's too much distance here. So in your 7th house, your house of partnership and relationship, it's kind of like somebody's not, the energies aren't working together. So you've got to make, instead of those energies combining together to work on something here, you may have to do this alone. And you got to have the courage to make that decision and make the adjustments that are needed between these things of what you did or what the partner did or something here. Because Pluto is that death and regeneration. And it's the 7th house, the house of partnerships, the house of marriage. This can also be, that other person's individuality. It can be about contracts or the lower courts and law, something here. But it's also about enemies, hidden, enemies you have that you're in, relationship with. Now here's like 12th house is the hidden enemies. It's opposite. Here you know who your enemies are. Over here you don't. They might act as your friend, but they're not really your friend. It's also the house of spirituality. But it's how you feel. And it's about this stuff. Your devotion to something here. The devotion to what your feelings are. Honor your feelings. Don't let anybody deter you about your feelings. I cannot stand it when I will say to somebody, and this has just happened recently with me, that I said something about, you make me feel like this situation that we're going through is more or less what I said, because I don't want to get like throwing a blame or something there. But it's the situation we're going through. I don't feel like this is the way I feel about it. And they were like, oh, they didn't want to talk about it or anything like that. I'm like, wait a minute. You need to respect my feelings. You want me to respect yours, you need to respect mine. And that's exactly what you may have to do here with somebody. Some people you're in relationships with. That's creating this tension or these oppositions, these squares that are going on. Because there's something here with this midheaven, which is your outer life, is creating something for you, some difficulty for you, some challenges for you. And I don't know if this, but you got to have that courage, to stand up to something here. And you don't have to be angry. You don't have to put it in an angry way. And don't use like pronouns like you or whatever. Keep it to yourself. Express the I. This is what I feel about me. This is what's me. And if somebody tries to shut you down about what you feel, as long as you're not directing it at them in a personal way, direct it to the situation that's going on. That's the problem. It's the situation. Because you're going to go back to that time when I said Mercury's at 15 degrees. Your mind is going to go back to that area because it's coming up. Maybe I should have worked a little harder then. Maybe I should have done this. Maybe I should have. I know I have said this so many times in the last 7 years. Maybe I should have put my foot down. Maybe I should have done this. Maybe it could have avoided a lot of things. I should have maybe been more expressive about what I felt about a situation and in the relationship in that. And I didn't. I was silent. I didn't do that. But what recently come up, I'm like, this is what I feel and what this situation's making me feel like. And then they were like, oh, we're not going to talk about it. No, no, no. And I'm like, oh, yes, we are. Don't tell me to be silent about the way I feel. You have every right to express the way you feel. Why do you think I don't have the right? This is what this situation makes me feel like. Good or bad. You've got to put it out there. And you've got to stand your ground. And if there's a problem, look for the solution. Don't discuss. I mean, you already know what the situation is. And you talk it over with whoever you're in relationship with. Because all that energy is going to be up there in the relationship house. For you. All this combined energy. I'm going to tell you. Now, when this gets going here, it's already conjunct. It's called a malefic. When Saturn and Mars comes together, which they're already starting to combine the energies. It started on March the 31st. They're going to be exact on April the 10th. So you might want to write that date down or whatever. And it will be at 5 o'clock or 5:30 in the afternoon on April the 10th. That these two are going to combine. And what you believe or what you desire about what you believe. There's some sort of belief here about what you desire. These are going to be combined energy and they're going to be malefic. You're going to feel at that time and this is right after the solar eclipse, that total solar eclipse. And I'm going to tell you, don't go out in the solar eclipse. Do not look at it. Do not go out into it. This is where you give reference to the divine and the creator and make new commitments in your spirituality. That you're going to do something here, new commitments to it. It's all about new beginnings, but don't go out into it because you're going to feel the doom. I did when it happened in 2017. I saw it. I looked at it. God, I wished I hadn't. But at that moment, I felt such doom and gloom in 2017. That August. And it was like, okay, I shouldn't have been in it, but my mother was in the hospital and I need to get out of the room and I just wanted to look outside and didn't even think about a total solar eclipse coming right over my head. And I felt that doom. That darkness just coming over. It's like feeling the Charlie Brown thing where, the cloud over his head and it's just raining on him, That's what I felt. And like I said, remember I said this aspect would still be here? And you've got to activate the mental. Sextiles show that you have to, it's an activation of the mind. And it's being activated truly about what I was going back on at that time, mid-March. You were replaying stuff from things from Christmas, before Christmas, on the 15th of December. Did you go to a party or something? Did you go do something? Go look at the date. But whatever here, with Mars coming into this, and this is what I was talking about, these two energies coming conjunct. Is it going to bring up something here? Because when planets are malefic, the effect of them is evil. It's malign, maleficent. meaning that it's harmful or evil in its intent or effect. And you're going to feel that in your house of relationships here. I don't know, were you in some sort of gathering or something here where possibly even you did something, or your partner did something, or people you're, in relationship with, that you have relationships, did something sort of, were you around where there was sort of, that these people, and maybe you were around, gosh, I got hot. They were either doing something or saying something in a harm or with an evil intent or something that God, somebody don't want me. Some don't want me to talk about this. Oh, Lord have mercy. Were you around others that had evil intentions or there was evil effects? Were you involved in something in relationships that caused something here? And it opened up a wound, a spiritual wound. I'm just saying, because now with this stationary and going back, this thing is going to come back up. And it's going to get more intense the closer it gets to that 15 degrees. But I'm going to tell you, it's all about, you got to heal this wound. Whatever it may be, you've got to have the courage to heal it. Because something you expected, you got the unexpected. And it's gonna rear its ugly head. Because the North Node, now, if you talk about the true nodes, or even they're called Rahu, the North Node, and the South Node is K2. This expands it. This, is the head of the dragon, head of the snake. This is the tail of the dragon. This is the tail of the snake, separate from the body, from the head. So there's something here that you need to let go of. Because look at all these combined conjunct energies. And they're creating these inconjunct energies. And you need to let it go, whatever it may be. Because not only do we have the conjunction now of the sun to Chiron, and there's a focus about healing, all right? That started on March the 31st, the end of March, okay? It's going to be exact with Chiron on April the 8th, which is going to be the total eclipse that we're going to talk about during a Mercury retrograde. And it will finally leave that conjunction, those energies combined with the sun being exalted right now as well. And we'll talk about the moon at this point as well, because it's in a square to the sun. That connection is going to leave on the 16th of April. Now, I'll get to that whenever we get to the total eclipse. But the sun is also in conjunction with the North Node. And you can see how this conjunction expands out. And then we have another conjunction here with the North Node to Chiron. So it's like you're focused on something about the future, but there's something you got to heal first. Because Mercury's going to be coming back into this, and it's going to join this conjunction. So it's going to be this powerful energy that says, like I said, there's something don't want me to let you know about this. And I'm going to tell you, we'll talk, oh, well, I'll talk about it when we get there. But this 15 that we're dealing with, I can't even find it. This 15 degrees is something hidden. Something in the law. 10 being something about the law. 5 is grace. Okay? When it gets to that 15 degrees, equals the 15. Something hidden in the law is grace. It's about marriage, love, male and female. And then 19 is about the healing. And that's what this total eclipse is going to be at the same degrees. But we'll talk about it when we get there. Now, I do want to say with the moon is at this time yesterday, it was in detriment. As long as it's in Capricorn, which I want to tell you about Capricorn and this moon being in Capricorn, which is going to be there until April the 3rd, tomorrow at 5 a.m. So before the sun rises, it will be moving toward Aquarius. But for now, with the moon in Capricorn, the moon in Capricorn, I'm so sorry, y'all. Gosh. With the moon being in Capricorn, there's an increase in formality, strictness, and exactitude, with a tendency to reserve and distance. So people might be distant. They may reserve. They may be kind of strict. They want to stick with the formality of things. Rules and regulations are dominant right now. It is a suitable time for all activities which require extra responsibility and discipline. But you shouldn't rely on someone's receptivity or emotional pliability. And this is in your 6th house of your health, your work, your improvement, is where there's a change with the service and willingness and devotion, being very self-analytical, disciplined and habits. But it's ruled by Capricorn. And this is your direction, your life goal. Prestige and position as well. So don't count on other people you work with to, help you emotionally. And this is something in the family as well, your family life. So let's move on to now where Venus, we're going to jump ahead now to April the 5th. All right. And this is 10 seconds after midnight. Venus now enters into Aries. Well, I just lost it there for a minute. But she's combined or has that conjunct energy of Neptune. Kind of the other day when I was looking at this, I was kind of feeling a sort of a Little Mermaid scenario here. Again, like I said, these two energies right here are becoming almost exact. Only, Mars has only got 4 or 5 degrees to become exact with that. And there is now, with Vista being in your 12th house, that you may be looking at something here about your goals. Your dreams. How to make money. It's all emotional. What you believe, what you desire to what you believe. And it's coming into this fiery house. Here, while it was here in Pisces, it was exalted. Now that it's coming in here, it's like, she doesn't like the heat. She's a ruler of Taurus and of earth and air. I mean, earth and water. She comes up on the earth for a short period of time, and then she goes back. She lets herself be seen, and then she goes into the depths. There's a story about Venus, which I might talk about later in some of the astrology lessons. But she becomes the morning star, the night star, and then you don't see her for a while. She drops from the sky, and you can't find her because she's below the horizon. So I'm not really sure what her oops, what was that? On the 3rd, on the 5th, she's ascending into the night sky. She's going to be ascending into the night sky. She's going to start that ascension. Right now she's just being the morning star. I know sometimes I would get up early in the morning, 6:30, 6, right before sunrise or whatever, and then sunrise is coming. I can see Venus in the sky in the morning on the horizon. And so right now she's ascending. She's coming out of that depth to be the night star. But there's something here with a square to this energy. With Venus. Now, this square with Venus in Vesta is that spiritual flame. And that started when she entered April the 1st, is when these two and they're going to come exact on April the 6th, right before the total eclipse. So she's going to be part of that total eclipse. And it will leave on April the 11th. That energy will leave. And also with Neptune, these are challenging energies. There's no major aspect here on this. But this was something with Neptune back in February the 22nd of 2024, that these were conjunct or coming into conjunction. They were exact on the 21st, March the 21st. Venus was coming in too close with Neptune. And then they became exact on March the 21st. And now this is going to leave, and she's going to be into Aries, and this is going to be on April the 7th. That energy's going to, that connection's going to break. That she'll be using that combined energy. Oh gosh. Anyway, we still have this opposition. We still have this quincunx because of this conjunction with Saturn and Mars. Moon is now in Aquarius, which is focused there with emotions and the the unexpected, the sudden change of something here, of a partner, your 7th house. Maybe some challenges on this day, on April the 5th. It begins on April the 4th. It's exact on April the 4th. That'd be about 5, almost 5, right before 5:30. And it will leave on the 5th, right after midnight, this square. There'll be some sort of challenge. So kind of expect the unexpected in your house of partnership. And the sun, and you know, Venus is still coming into Aries exalted. And the sun is exalted as well. And, you know, she's with the rulership of Pisces, which is Neptune. And when a planet's ruling it, it's just all force power. Because each sign has a planet where it's exalted and where its energy is pure and elevated to the level of almost, you know, of perfection. So we still got these quincunxes where there's some inconjunct. Remember, conjunction and inconjunction means they're using each other. They're combining their forces to your 3rd house, the South Node. I don't know what is going on here, but it's like it's it's almost like they don't want you. Somebody here. I don't know. I guess I just got the feeling that somebody doesn't want you to grow. Don't want you to have personal growth. Because what? They lose the power then? They lose the control? Because Saturn is about controlling. You may even think that some people you have relationships with, and this is like nighttime, and I'll go back to that astrology, intro into astrology, where I said the day is ruled, this is on a Thursday. And the night is ruled by the moon. And it's in your 7th house. And the hour is being ruled by the sun. That's sitting over here in Aries. And it's in conjunction. So sort of maybe expect the unexpected, because these two right here are in conjunction as well. They're using the energy. There may be an expansion of the unexpected. You know, Uranus is known as the god of air, storms, electricity. And Jupiter may expand that. And we got Mercury now, you know, as like I said, it's retrograde. So it's moving backwards. And it's going to move backwards kind of quickly. And you can see that both of these, the North Node and the Sun, is sitting at 15 degrees where Mercury is moving back to. So there may be a mental focus or to the future of whatever happened then when Mercury was at that 15 degrees that you're focused at in the past of something here that occurred. I don't know. You'll have to think about it. What, with these dates and all that are going on. This inconjunct will leave April the 29th by the end of the month. But it's going to stay with this energy. So expect things, the unexpected. You may think something one way or believe something one way, but there could be an unexpected change. Big, unexpected change. Maybe there's something here with a habit, maybe of a partner or other people you have relationships with. Maybe they've gone through a very drastic change due to something of their own goals, wishes, aspirations. That may be something where devotion. I mean, remember Pluto, man, Pluto will come in. When it comes in, it is really a destroyer. Because I know what it did to me, why it was going through Capricorn. It really tore my life all to hell and back. And this, like I said, is not going to leave till the end of the month, the 29th. And then Pluto on May the 2nd will go retrograde. Only got 27 more days and 13 hours, and it'll be retrograde. But maybe the partner may be dealing with something here of their wishes and, of something here with what they feel. Their goals, their aspirations. Or something for the relationship of what you feel. And then we have this with the midheaven of what's going on up here. There's a big attention paid up here. That's going to come exact. It's, it entered on the 2nd of February. There's a lot of stuff to do with you guys with February. And it's exact on March the 10th. And then it's going to leave on April the 17th. This energy. I'm warning everybody, stay out of this total eclipse. Really. We have the squares with the ascending because Sagittarius will be in the first house and it'll be ascending. So it's really about, paying attention to what Jupiter going on with Jupiter. And that combined energy with Uranus. And it's squaring over here to the moon. Maybe in your partners, your house of marriage or partnerships or other people, relationships. Of all this energy that's going to be over here. The 8th house of what you desire and the 9th house of your faith and religion. I mean, we're talking about a fixed house and we're talking about a mutable house. There's definitely got to be some adjustments made. Or I'm sorry, that's a cardinal. Well, these are two, 8th and 9th house. But the signs are mutable and cardinal. Let's go on to the next one with the total eclipse. I'm running too long on this. We have the total eclipse on the 8th. Or I'm sorry. I forgot to bring it into the thing. There we go. Now, look at all this energy that's here. We have Venus. We have the North Node. We have the Moon. We have the Sun. We have Chiron. And we have Mercury at 24 degrees. It's moved 2 degrees. But that's a lot of energy packed in together. The Sun now is conjunct with Mercury, knowing that it's coming back toward it. So something here is always a return or of a situation, a person, or something that's going to come back in, and it has to do with that 19 degrees, the sun being exalted, Venus being here is in her detriment. And when a planet is in their detriment, that means they're opposite their house or their sign of exaltation. She rules Libra here. And it still has that conjunction with Neptune, which Neptune is where, there's spiritual vision, your creative imagination, and your psychic ability lead you beyond the materiality. Anything that's glamour and illusion are negative, and it's about your highest idealism. And it's squaring to Vista, that keeper of the flame, your goals, your aspirations. And we're talking about 2 cardinal signs. Now, the full moon, I believe it's going to be in Libra. Or was it in Libra? I can't remember. I'm not even going to look back at it right now. I lied. Come on. Give me a break here. Something worked with me today. Scorpio. Full moon's going to be in Scorpio. So it was in Libra, but it's going to be in Scorpio now, which has to deal with your 4th house, your house of home, the family. And there's something here of dealing with, when we're talking about death, regeneration, sexual activity, with Scorpio, it's a fixed sign. Which we'll get to the full moon in a minute, but look at the activity that's happening here. And these are getting closer and closer together. And there's no major aspect showing right now. Now, the sun's going to ingress into Taurus, all right, which is creating that aspect, that square, over to Pluto, because it's going to come exact at 2 degrees, which this energy will really be a focus. They'll come exact April the 21st. And it'll leave on April the 26th, because it'll go into the next sign. Or it'll leave that exact degree. Oh, you do have an aspect here that's dealing with, now this is the first one we've had this month. I mean, since the beginning there when I talked. We have the ascending that's on the horizon, Gemini. And we have an opposition of Lilith. The moon is there, getting ready to go into the full moon. There's an opposition to Mars here. Mars is still conjunct, but that energy is going to leave on the 21st in about 3 days. And it'll come into conjunct with Neptune, the rulership of Pisces. Remember, that's sort of that tug of war, that opposition of something that has to do with your outer life here as above, your what you show outwardly into the world, or what's shown to you, and your actions with limitations within society. And they're squaring Saturn to the ascending and Lilith to the ascending. So something here that you're thinking that's on your mind, and look at it, it's 2 degrees. It's right so close. At 17 degrees, something here can be successful of that healing. anytime we're talking about the 17, we're talking about victory, something good coming out of this. And then it's going to go back into that 15 degrees, and it's going to conjoin with that north node. Exactly. We have Venus in opposition here to the south node. Well, she's in detriment, and the sun is still exalted. It's going to go into Taurus, exalted from Aries. And when we talk about an exaltation, we talk about when gosh, you know, it's going to bring that some of that energy into here, and it's going to be facing these two right here, and look what they're at, 21. So 21 is where it's those things of nature and history and prophecy. It means perfection or completeness. It's about rights and privileges. So, and it's going to be at the forefront on this of new beginnings. People asserting maybe the rights and privileges. Then we have where on the 25th, Mercury goes stationary and direct. And there is a lot of aspects happening here because it's at 15 degrees. And it's stationary in this combined energy. Now, what we have is we have two mystical rectangles. Mystical rectangles are those things where, and remember when I said they're trions? Well, sometimes there's oppositions here as well. Something unexpected, but when I did a little research on the mystical rectangles, it also came up with the name of Lucifer's rectangle. So if there's something here that's kind of can be unexpected, and it's finally a cycle, whatever happened, remember when I said something over here when these two combine? Something's been going on in your house of relationship and spirituality. You're fighting something here, okay? This cycle is going to end. That's it. When they were at 11 degrees or some 11 degrees there, you know, that's when it reaches its peak. But it's like completion. Remember, they're both 21. Now they're both 22. So something in nature and history and prophecy is done. It has happened. The higher divine is whatever you're dealing with. It's like this telling you it's done. It's over. We got, because this creates a sextile here. A mystical rectangle creates two sextiles on the opposite ends. And then it has trions on opposite ends, or opposite of each other. And then it can either have an opposition here, or it can have a trion here. Well, there's oppositions here to Mars. You know, somebody, you may be putting your foot down to something here. Maybe you're restricting something. Maybe you're limiting something here. And then we have it from this combined energy here with the moon. Something with the family. Scorpio energy. You could have somebody who has Scorpio in their chart in your family. And then the oppositions with, with Lilith, like I said that. And then with the sextile, whatever's going on here, with this sextile of Mars to Jupiter. See, Mars goes good with Saturn, but not with Jupiter. There could be something here unexpected happening. And another sextile from the moon to Lilith. Somebody, in the family could have some issues with you maybe putting your foot down about something here. And this whole thing right here is dealing with, I think you're kind of, if you're a spiritual person, let me tell you something. And you're dealing with somebody that is not spiritual, and they're trying to control you in some way to pull you away from your spirituality. You don't deal with a child of you don't do wrong to a child of God. I'm gonna tell you that right now. When you devoted yourself over to something here, and something evil or a person is not connected, or they have denounced something there and they're trying to pull you away, but you are so connected through maybe your upbringing or your moral conditions that you have, where maybe the other person is immoral or whatever, you don't mess with a child of God. I'm going to tell you that right now. You may be causing problems for them, but let me tell you something else. You're causing worse karma for yourself when you do that. So I feel like you're not going to go along with something here. Like, I'm done with something. I'm tired of you. I'm done with the behavior of whatever's going on here, because, we're looking at the midheaven and this moon being in a square to the midheaven. And then from that combined energy of Uranus and Jupiter, what's going on there as above, something in your outer life here, outside of your personal life, is playing something on your family. I mean, like I said, you don't let the devil in the door. If you let the devil in the door, you got hell in your home, in your life. You got to stand up to it. And then we got the T-squares. Exactly. Again, it's part of that mystical rectangle. And you might be asking yourself, where in the world is this coming from? Because it's dealing with Jupiter and Uranus. This could be jealousy, envy. If a person is non-spiritual, they are so evil to someone who is. And I don't understand that, because a person who is of spirit is loving, compassionate, giving. So why would you want to attack someone who is that way? To do them harm in some way? I just don't get it. And to be jealous of them because they won't go the way you want them to go? Crazy. It's just absolutely crazy. And then we have Venus moving into Taurus. And now Mercury's moving direct. And this is where she is going to be exalted. But right now she's in her detriment. The moon's in its detriment as well. There's a square, T-square with Mercury. And the opposition, is squaring the moon. The moon is squaring Mercury. And it's squaring the south node. And the opposition of Mercury to this, it's like, I got a feeling there's people here that's got to feel like, I know in my life right now, I feel like I need this balance. Because I do feel like there's something here that, in a way, is working, but I don't really understand it. And I feel like it's going to work for the good. And I'm okay with that, whatever it may be. Now, the next thing we have is we're going to have, let me explain to you too. Well, I think I did in the intro to astrology. You can check that out. Mars will now ingress on April the 30th. It will ingress into Aries as well, where it will be in its rulership. So we'll actually have 3 planets in their home of rulership. We'll have Venus, we've got Neptune, and we're going to have Mars. Mars will be ruling its sign, and Venus will be ruling one of its signs. There's no major aspect here, but there is a crossover of energy about, healing something here still, because it's going to move back to that 27 degrees. So it's time to maybe heal those wounds, put the medicine on them. Have faith. It's all about faith. And this energy is going to leave on May the 4th, and this energy will leave on April the 30th. Because the midheaven will move and the ascending moves. They kind of keep together, really close together. There's a separation of them of, let's see, 30, 60, not about 90 degrees of separation most of the time. But this will be up. Something about the wishes, something about this vista, your goals, your aspirations you have. This square will leave also on the 30th of April. Okay? So, and remember the moon will be waning at this time, so, whatever it is, it's time to release it, whatever from that full moon. That there's a new beginning now, new start, new life. Okay? If you will, and you've been here at the channel, you're a subscriber to the channel, please give a thumb up for the videos. Also share the link to others. Newcomers, you're welcome. Please consider joining the channel and supporting it by hitting that see my little icon out. I have to fix that. By subscribing. We love having you here. Also, check out the link to the introduction to astrology. Has a little bit more there, more of a helping you get through learning something, because I've had people, so I like to watch it, but I don't really understand it. So it helps here. And maybe I don't have to keep going over and over. But anyway, that's it. So y'all take care, and I'll see you next time.